Oh my gosh, Michael the Aging Ent here. I am chilling out in Mark Hubbard's yard. I've got the headphones on and everything because I'm just doing an audio check to get this set up. Haven't seen him in a couple of years. He's a really good friend who's introduced me to a lot of cool people and taught me a lot of great stuff. So this should be a badass time. Hell yeah, here he comes. We're gonna sit down and do this now.
Hey, this is Mark with MSix Labs. I'm here meeting with Michael. I haven't seen him in a while. It'll be good to chat with him again. We always had great conversations, and I definitely look forward to seeing him. So at MSix Labs, we're able to develop your brands, add labels, graphic design, product development, formulation, and distribution. MSix Labs produces many candy products, chews, popping candy, and many natural flavors. Some include melatonin, caffeine, for that extra little kick for your day. All products are third-party lab tested.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael the Aging Ent, and I'm here with Mark Hubbard. How's it going, Mark?
Good to see you again, Mike. It's been quite a while, man.
It has. Mark has educated me on more topics in cannabis than pretty much anybody else, and right now, working in CBD heavily, right? In hemp.
Yep, industrial hemp.
Hell yeah. So right before we started talking, Mark had mentioned that he had how many acres the first year in 2018?
Let's see, 2018 we did 36 acres in South counties of Wisconsin.
Hell yeah, Wisconsin, Midwest born and raised here. I'm from Chicago, so you know, that part of the world's great for growing stuff. What did you find in Wisconsin's hemp? How accepting was like society, law, legislation that you saw of it?
Oh, considering farmers out there losing their livelihoods and devalue of dairy has really cost them their way of life, they're open to almost anything. Any options to do something. Diversification within your farms and what you do within your land is why you rotate crops. Is a lot of things that I learned, but it's very disparaging. These farmers are very hard up.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, there's reasons, so many reasons for that. But so hemp offers a way for these farmers to have ongoing agriculture that's like relevant to today's society. Was it difficult to like engage that process, or was it about as hard as other businesses?
You know what, I think it was pretty easy. These farmers have a lot of solutions, a lot of things that I didn't have solutions or knowledge of. So they brought just as much to the table, in my opinion, as I did, as far as approaches, as far as key things to watch out for. Genetics are the most important thing that you have to watch out to if you're going to farm this crop.
And I imagine like just about any crop's kind of like that, right? And I mean, that's why corn's so really aggressive, and Monsanto does like really strong things to protect their genes.
Yeah, I think watching the development of the corn industry and other agricultural industries is a really good comparison as far as how far hemp needs to come as far as development within the genetics.
Well, on that point, like, what is the U.S. genetic supply of hemp look like that you know of? Are you able to go get a diversified stock from providers? Are you guys trading with each other to get expanded genes?
Most of what I see are seed farmers that plant something that you're going to get just about anything within that. No consistency within the crops. Quite a few farmers are growing some clones, so you definitely get a lot of consistent genetics. I would have to say that there are a couple companies that have spent the time and effort to stabilize some CBD genetics and do a very good job at it. And it's very evident when you see those genetics, but the majority, no, it's all over the place. The gene pool is very limited within this.
That's interesting that it is, because it's such like a wildly diverse, naturally occurring crop. I guess it's sourced relatively recently, you know, it needs generations to really blossom. And then I think maybe, I mean, we talked about this about weed probably 3.5 years ago, but like regionally, cannabis, and hemp is cannabis, right? Yep. Just like any other plant has like regional flavorings that'll grow, you know, it'll get from the soil that it's in, from the air quality that is around, and maybe even other things that we're not even aware as human beings yet that might impact the plant growing at some locality on Earth.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that a Durban poison and a Dutch treat grows extremely well in the Colorado environment. They don't grow an OG for shit.
Yeah,
So
try and grow some Durban poison in Shelton.
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So as we understand how a plant grows and where it wants to grow, that's going to take time and effort to develop those genetics. And in my opinion, that's the most important thing for a farmer.
Yeah, because I mean, what if something has more resilience in one minor change of the genetic expression? And like you're saying with the seed farmers, right? So I imagine that's pretty much like what some of the cannabis I-502 seed farmers are doing, which is literally just furrowing and throwing seed, and whatever comes, they chop it down and do what they're doing with it.
Well, if it's an oil crop, then it's an oil crop. It really doesn't matter much. If you're going for strain specific, you're not going to get that. Unfortunately, the regulations within the industry limit the crop to test out at no more than 0.3% sold to the consumer, which limits
0.3% of what though?
total THC.
Total THC.
Total THC, including Delta-8, with methods that are included to do total conversion for the testing method to identify.
Wow.
FDA used GCFID, which is a total quantitative method. If you rely on HPLC, which is qualitative and can be quantitative, you're not going to be doing a comparative test to what the federal government does against yourself.
Well, at least they made a decision. At least they said, hey, here's the way we're testing this, and you're going to test it like this, as opposed to like here in the state where there's so many like options and no direction, which is part of that whole thing that we were talking about very, very briefly, corruption in cannabis around the world. But so more importantly than those things, what is the expression of hemp that you're looking for? Like, what are the things that you're trying to derive out of what you're growing?
Oh gosh, we're just getting something that's compliant at this point. This is like 502 year one, where the regulations are going to change every 6 months. Hemp is like that right now. We're still waiting for the USDA. The DEA just did a shot across the bow, scared the hell out of everybody. A lot of people are not sure how to deal with this one. In plain and simple terms, this is about diversion. The DEA knows that if you can make Delta-8 from THC, Delta-9, it's a lot easier than making it from from CBD. If you know this and you come from a state, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, California, where there's legal marijuana or illegal for marijuana for that matter, that can be diverted, this is where the DEA is getting involved. The 2018 Farm Bill clearly states isomers, polymers, extracts, and isolates are legal as long as they're derived from industrial hemp. That's the definition. The DEA will not buck that, in my opinion.
Now, meanwhile, they're trying to lean on that with the Analog Act of '83, I think, where if you have a substance that is illegal and is classified as a controlled substance, and any analogous substance, however it's derived synthetically, a blend that does the same chemical compound, it too now is illegal without any further action by the federal government. This skips the Analogs Act because it is explicitly stated that derived from industrial hemp. And so the thing that you're talking about, we didn't really say its name, but Delta-8-THC, that's the concern because it is psychoactive, but it's not explicitly illegal, and it is easily derivable, as you're saying, from...
Well, is it psychoactive? And that's the question. I don't know that it's specifically known as such.
A lot of people believe it is. I know that there's a big market in like 3 or 4 states.
A lot of people believe that CBD is psychoactive as well and gets you high as well. Maybe it's just because you feel better, Michael. Better circulation.
I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because do you remember dabbing CBD and just like getting punched in the face by that feeling and like
your eyes bright and wide open?
You're just like
a crazy, weird feeling.
And it's actually you are extra sober because it takes away all it like counteracts THC. So all of your charged CB1 and 2 receptors, suddenly the THC goes pop, you're out, and is replaced by this CBD. So yeah, like CBD does have a clear psychoactive effect in that it cancels the psychoactive effect of THC. But is being sober psychoactive?
That's my point. I can
Good
hold
one.
my breath
Yeah.
for a long time and feel really
Yeah,
fucked
yeah.
up.
The choking game from
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
90s and early
There you go.
2000s, people were worried about. Oh, yeah.
yeah, it
Bend
works.
down, like grab your toes and fucking breathe deep 5 times.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing that's
Stand up real fast.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
you
Is that Delta-8 doing the same thing? Just slightly slower. That's a good question, though. I need to get my hands on a big old pile of Delta-8 and find out.
Well, let me help you with that there, Michael.
Hey, awesome. In cannabis and CBD is a lot like other foods, right? Like the processing. Is hemp, industrial hemp, any different than like the cannabis process, or how's that look?
So at MSix Labs, we take the industrial hemp and we extract it very similar to cannabis. We use methods like BHO, extraction, hydrocarbon. We'll use alcohol, which is definitely a more efficient, more volume extraction for sure.
Just getting them big roto-vaps, the 50 liters or something like that, the big ones, right?
Yeah, there's all kind of debates on how cold you go or how warm you go. I think, in my opinion, it's about offset of energy, but we still got to remember our carbon footprint. But extraction is extremely similar to the THC side, with one exception: volume. Volume is tremendous. I mean, we'll do batches, regular 500 pounds a day of plant material input. Everybody in the cannabis industry is just so muffled and just kept and withheld within. Quality does suffer. I mean, it's not small batch. You're not going to get big fat diamonds, but CBD and THC molecules are different in that way. So their crystallizations, a whole different nerd trail we can go down, Michael. But quality of the plant material is going to be a secondary big difference. We're allowed to grow marijuana to its full development, give it everything that it needs. We get a few plants that we get to babysit and treat very, very well, and get a very premium product out with shit in, shit out. It's always an extraction, plain and simple. When you grow 36 acres versus an acre or two, you're going to get a big difference in quality for sure.
I mean, realistically, here in 502, no one's not no one, but very few brands are actually pushing an acre or two and getting a high quality product out, just because there's not that much space for them to grow in their licenses usually. But also, if they are, there's no way they're turning out the great product.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, in comparison, 36 acres is about 1.2 million square feet, which was I-502 lottage for year 1, 2, and 3 within Washington State. So what we did on 5 farms was the total mass of 2,502 farms.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. So
Yeah,
that is a
so-
huge volume difference.
Big difference.
You mentioned running in a day like 500 pounds of mass. How much? What's the yield on that? Like on the outs at the end of it? What do you
I'm
get?
saying we're 15%. I mean, this is standard extraction.
Right on.
The methods are comparative, even at scale.
Yeah. Wow. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool that you're able to at least get that high of a yield. I was thinking it was going to be lower than that, to be honest. But
Percentages of most of the hemp, is about 12% plus, and so we're doing well. Some do a little bit better, which get up 17, 18% on a confirmed test results, which
Not too
is
shabby.
beautiful stuff. So,
Yeah.
shit in, shit out.
You have been involved in a lot of facets of the cannabis industry as a medical patient. You've helped guide other people through medical cannabis acquisition. You created one of the first first cannabis testing labs here in the state of Washington for medical.
We were the 3rd here in Washington State, the 6th in the United States. testing
Right on.
Cannabis.
Hell yeah. And with Integrity Labs, you did everything, but then moved into, you're in CBD and industrial hemp. In how many states have you worked in doing that?
Let's see. We did a project in Nevada, project in Oregon. We did another project in Nevada as well, in Las Vegas. Two projects, and one in Denver until we got raided. Then we had another one that popped up as well, and then one in Wisconsin. And
and quite a few farms in Wisconsin. Lots of Amish grown hemp. It's really cool to see.
That makes my day. That makes me smile so hard.
Make
That
it-
the
get me
Amish
in
are,
that
yeah.
seat, man.
Hell yeah, totally, man. You got to fit in with them.
That's right.
So many states.
You know we can grow the beard, Michael.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. You're just looking professional now. You're incognito. If you were to give advice to an individual, not a business owner, somebody looking to like engage that way, but an individual who might want to get into hemp or the cannabis industry, do you have any recommendations for how somebody who's never been in that space might transition to it?
I think do a little research as far as what interests you most. Do you like to grow? Do you like to bake? Do you understand business? Do you understand marketing? Are you really good with numbers? Figure out what you're really good at and know how you can utilize your talents of legitimate industries, legitimate business to help another fledgling industry and a fledgling business grow and become more legit and more respected and grow faster.
Oh yeah, that's some really good advice. So you can't just go out and be, hippie heady. You want to do it, God, you'll trim buds for 12 hours a day for just a few joints just to get the chance. That's not the way it works. You've got to bring some sort of value to the table.
Yeah.
And by being creative, it doesn't matter what value you can bring, whatever your experience is. These businesses in cannabis and in hemp need everything. They need people who are good at whatever it is you do to like get in that space, start doing it well, and help build the foundation of their business and any others so that you can have columns of strength. And all of these companies, as Mark said, fledgling industry, very new. Nobody here has a decade's experience in industrial hemp. It just, you can't. So would you encourage folks to go work in this industry?
I enjoy every day that I wake up, and I have enjoyed every day that I've woken up around this plant and businesses around this plant. And every day is just a learning opportunity, which I really, really love. So I enjoy every day.
Yeah.
I know you have a smile on your face every time I see you.
Can't help it.
You see people change their lives. You see people benefit others that they love and care about. This plant just helps on a multitude of levels.
Oh yeah, one love, yo.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. But Mark, thanks so much for your time. I'm so glad we got the chance to sit
good
down.
see you again, bud.
Handshaking during COVID, I don't
That's
give
right.
a fuck.
No, we're all good. I'll take it.